The S&P 500 yesterday and Monday has managed to have a small correction. Is this all to do with the earnings from Tesla and so on? Or is this just a normal correction? The S&P 500 is rallying back up a little bit again, but I'm not expecting it to really be much. The likelihood is it's just making up some of the losses that it had, ready to move down even further. At the moment, it's around about the 6% loss total, but I would expect to see that it come even further down towards the 200 here. I don't think the losses are finished yet. We would want to expect to see the price come back down to this one zone to prove that it can either move up or to show it has got weakness moving down. Oil is kind of painting the same picture as an oil painting, let's call it. And are we going to see higher prices once again? The price of oil seems like it found a bottom, but are we going to see higher highs over the coming weeks or like 10 days? Or is this just a small correction to move back down to the likes of $80 per barrel to come and retest the 200 EMA? And if we have an additional geopolitical problems, then I would expect to see higher prices. But if that cools off, then we could see it coming back down to say $80 a barrel once again, ready for possible another high or other lows. The euro against the US dollar had taken a hit, and as we can see once again, just like the S&P 500 and the oil market, it's looking like it's making a small correction to come and test that previous bottom to be now a resistance zone for possible new prices to the downside. And if we would expect prices to the downside, then we would expect it to come and probably test the 104.5 area. But this will be over the coming weeks to show whether or not we're going to get any sideways movement. And if we do see some sideways movement, we would then at least to see some form of agreement that is an area of kind of strength. And if something else happens come May, then we would expect to see it come down if it's negative for the euro. Or if it's negative for the US dollar, then we would see prices move back up again. But we're still very much in a very long-term range here over the past say 4 to 5 months. So just pinging backwards and forwards, up and down, seems to be the normal trend right now. So we could say that the euro US dollar is basically going in a range, and we may be testing the bottom here, ready to move back up to the top. When it breaks out to the upside or downside, could come through the rest of the year. The US dollar against the Japanese yen is kind of painting the same picture that it painted around here, and also around here. Are we going to see movement to the downside to make some form of correction to pick up some of these losses that it had? Or are we going to see more strength in the US dollar against the yen? Or is the yen going to be able to hold its position or even make some more gains against the US dollar? We would expect if it does have any strength, then it would maybe move down to about this range, the 153 zone. Otherwise, we would expect it to pump up again. But right now, we see the S&P 500 moving up. We see the euro making a correction. So in the euro, we see the euro strengthen against the dollar. So are we going to see the yen strengthen against the dollar too? We have seen over the past few days that gold has lost some of its highs here, and it came to look like it had a possible bottom. But is this really the bottom? Have people stopped selling gold now? Or are they going to continue buying into it? This is when we say people, we're more talking about governments or huge banks, central banks, buying gold up because of the likes of the fear that more inflation is to come over the course of the year. I mean, we're only in the second quarter right now, and the likes of inflation are stirring, especially with the oil prices increasing and the continuous increasing of the yields for the US 10-year and 2-year bonds. Now, the British government came out with plans yesterday about extending or enhancing its defence budget and how it's going to, in the next 6 years, become super powerful once again. Is this just the British government saying, hey, we intend to go to some form of conflict in 2030? What is that number? Was that an arbitrary number? Does it take actually 6 years to build those resources once again? Is this going to be the catalyst that pushes the UK 100 further? How is this going to affect the people in the country? Is that money going to flow through to the people, or is it just going to flow through to the companies that have basically been backed by the politicians? The likelihood is there's going to be some companies going to be profiting from this. The question is how can you profit from this one too? So the crypto fear and greed index is currently at 72. We seem to be moving once again more into the greed area, especially with the Bitcoin halving now past, and the likelihood of buy the rumor, sell the news is still not totally confirmed. Lots of people still saying that we're going to get another pump, we're going to get another run, and maybe another dump. This is all very much speculation. We're still going pretty much sideways, which we'll look at shortly. So when we start seeing the greed move into the extreme greed again, or into the higher numbers in greed, then we should expect to see a possible another run. But is this just the Bitcoin halving moving us back into greed with expectations of higher prices? We don't know. So let's come over to the markets fear and greed index. Let's look at the timeline. We can see we've got this little bit of a rally once again coming back up. We hit the 32 on April the 19th of fear, and now we are at 40. We're now at 40 in fear. Is this going to push back through to neutral? Is the earnings season going to be pushing this back to greed and extreme greed if the likes of the Magnificent Seven and the other big companies show real great growth and earnings? Or if some of them don't, are we going to see this move into lower numbers, into fear and possible extreme fear? Another thing that I like to look at now is the VIX, due to basically about the market volatility. You can see that the VIX has taken a little bit of a nosedive here after seeing some higher values. Obviously, comparing this to the previous higher values in October, they're still very low. We have seen that it has moved back below this orange line, the 50-day moving average, after it's had seen a peak up here. I'm speculating, but we'll see over the coming weeks what this possibly could mean with the S&P 500, gold, oil prices, and then cryptocurrency. So the crypto currency market cap, increased 1.44% up to 2.3 trillion euros. And Bitcoin at the moment is at 62,482. So we can see it is on the increase. It's had like a 3.61 increase over the past 7 days. So it is still beating inflation. Even if it just goes up 0.5% over the past month, it still beat inflation. And at 3.6 right now, if you'd have put your money in at the beginning or 7 days ago and got it out today, you would have beaten inflation for the whole year anyway, as long as you put your whole salary in for that 1 year. The altcoin season is creeping. Well, it did have a very much of a low of 23, but now we're kind of simmering around the middle once again. Bitcoin is still very, very strong, and what makes me very happy is Solana is even stronger than Bitcoin right now, but it isn't one of these terrible coins up here. But we'll move on to that later. As you know, in my other videos, I am very, very much bullish on Solana. I think it does have huge potential for the future, and it will catch up with the likes of Visa and MasterCard in the future because it has the technology behind it. Bitcoin has the technology too. It is well distributed, but it isn't a fast transactional network, and it was never supposed to be either. However, Solana has been built from the ground up as a fast network that can cope with the likes of trading and so on. But that's another topic in itself. Hello and welcome to this video. My name is David Thorne. It is the 24th of April 2024. Currently 24 minutes past 9 Central European time. If you are new to my channel and have not seen it before, then I make lots of different types of videos. And on my channel, I have over 500 videos, and some making videos about programming, some talking about electronics, and some just talking about my general life in Germany. Now, you've come here because the video is about my Bitcoin price analysis, and if you are interested in watching any of the other videos that I have made, then come over to this Bitcoin price analysis playlist and you can see all of the videos that I made previously. And the last one is down here. I haven't moved it yet. So yeah, if you want to check out any things that I said over the past like 30 something days, then go back and you can check out all of these videos. I have annotated them with their ups and downs, their price movement, their open and closes, so you can get a quick overview of what happened on that one day. And over the past days, we have seen possible breakouts, we've seen possible things, but right now nothing big has happened. However, something is definitely brewing, and a move is definitely coming. That is 100% for sure. Just when is it coming is the question. Before we start doing the Bitcoin price analysis, I just want to say to you that I am not a financial advisor, right? I'm not a professional trader. I'm literally just a guy sat in front of a monitor talking to a microphone about the price of Bitcoin. Now, I invested with my wife, me and my wife, we invested back in 2021. We invested a little bit more. We got a little bit scared here, and we then didn't buy here whatsoever. Biggest regrets of our life, my fault. But we have, over the past weeks, taken some good profits here. We sold a little bit portions of our Bitcoin every single time it hit the top. And that money we have taken out and we've moved it into Solana. Now, some of the funds we moved into Solana when Bitcoin and Solana, or when Solana lost its value against Bitcoin, and I managed to move over quite a lot here, and I managed to nearly quadruple my position in Solana, and because I believe in it totally. So, and I do also have money on the side in the event that we do get another dip. However, right now, I must be honest, I am not expecting another dip. However, in all of my other videos, I did expect it, but I've got a little bit more wiser to the notion right now that the bigger picture, the market seems to want to go higher. But that doesn't mean to say that I'm not cautious. I'm always ready, and that's why I've got this spare money ready in the event that Bitcoin does make a lower low or make another big correction to go back in again and go back in hard. Now, if it comes down to here, I won't be going in hard, but if it comes down to here, then we will be definitely going in hard. And we will review whether we want to get even more money to go into it. But right now, we can see that the sentiment for Bitcoin is very, very good, especially with all of the new, the possible new ETFs or the new ETFs coming in Hong Kong. I think it is next week, and there's also a little bit more sentiment in Bitcoin. So, with that said, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, and anything I say in this video is directly related to my own investments, and it's my log of what my thoughts were on that one day. But you are definitely more than welcome to sit back and listen in and to take advantage of anything I say. But remember, you need to do your own due diligence on any transactions, on any trades you do. That is your responsibility, and anything you do is your fault. And yeah, what I do with my money is my fault or my gain. So that's all I've got to say. But obviously, feel free to listen in. Now, before we do get started, please remember I do this for free, and I have been sat here for a good couple of hours doing research on what I want to say this morning and what what I want to have a look at. So just take the time out right now just to do me that one little favor, just to say thank you. Come and either check out some of my other videos that I've made, right? Or yeah, that would be one of the biggest things that you could do for me, is come and check out some of the other videos that I've made, or just like my video right now. And that will be more than enough. And if you did like the stuff that I talked about in this one video, then just think about writing me a little comment to give me your views, or just to say thank you, or something like that. That would be super awesome of you. All right. Now, Now, if you don't want to, then I don't mind. It's okay. But in the future, if you do see some of my other videos and they are about other topics, and this doesn't interest you, I will not be offended if you just scroll on by. Now, if you have subscribed because you want to be notified when I make any new videos, all of my Bitcoin price analysis videos will start with BTC or Bitcoin. And as you can see, I make some other videos also normally with Bitcoin in the title or Bitcoin on the logo as well, when there's possible breakouts that are going to happen. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know whether or not it will happen, but what I want to be able to do is to inform you of what my thoughts are on that one day, and that's why I make these videos for you, is so you can be prepared to know what my thoughts were in my head. And today, as far as I'm concerned, it's a Bitcoin price analysis video, and we see that it's just moving up, and it could go either up, sideways, or down. For that reason, we're not going to have any special titles. With that now all out the way, let's start with what you came here to do and do the Bitcoin price analysis. As always, we'll scroll back out to the weekly view and we'll look at what we've got. I always repeat myself, but the whole point is that we should look at these things every single day as if it is the first time we looked at it, because we don't want to be biased about what we thought yesterday. So let's just get our view, and what we can see is, yes, the overall movement of the market is upwards. So there is definitely a bearish sentiment. All right, so if we're trying to work out what the market is trying to tell us, the market is the master and it's telling us what to do. All right, and right now the market is telling us over a long term, on a weekly basis, or over that it wants to go up. However, the market is telling us that there is some form of consolidation. There is some form of sideways movement here, where everyone is the sellers are not happy with the price, but the buyers are happy with the price. And there seems to be this argument right now whether or not there should be a lower price or should be a higher price. And that's why we see this volatility going up and down all the time, because it's the likelihood of the ETFs just buying and selling it back to each other to take some profits. That is it. On one day, Grayscale sells. On the next day, ARK buys. On the next day, BlackRock buys, and so on. So I'm guessing they're all communicating with each other, just buying and selling, because until the likes of the retail come in and can take some of this Bitcoin off of them as for profits, they need to pass it backwards and forwards to each other. Just totally speculating here, but if there's no retail coming in, who else is buying it? So let's now jump into the daily charts, and you can see here quite explicitly that we have seen an up and a down and a down. But in this, what I find interesting is that we saw this up and this down. So this is the rally that we saw moving up, right? We saw this rally going up. And then there was some form of market reaction coming down, which just seems to be logical because it had a long, couple of weeks moving up, or even longer than that. And there needed to be some form of market reaction coming down. And it came down and it tested this one zone. And then we see the price went back up again, but it couldn't break that new high, right? But it did consolidate here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days before coming back down again. But we can see that it did come down, but where we saw this kind of consolidation zone here, yes, there was a spike down but come back up again, but we saw there was some form of agreement down here of what the price should be. So this is something that we need to take into account. We've already seen that a lot of the Bitcoin holders that are moving the market here, I'm not talking about the Bitcoin holders that are bought down here. I'm talking about the people who've bought Bitcoin around here and who are selling it around here. It seems to be that they've agreed that this is the price of Bitcoin. And we've seen a little bit of a dip, which is the likelihood of some people selling too much then, maybe shorting the market, maybe trying to push the prices lower, but other people that are ready to buy Bitcoin at a discount have bought it up here and pushed the price back up again. And we saw that for 3 days. where the price got pushed down and pushed back up again. And now after the Bitcoin halving has occurred, we've seen the price push up again. So it looks like that the people that had bought round here and had sold around here, they have agreed that the price can move up a little bit higher. Now the question is right now, are they once again agreeing upon this area, and are we going to see sideways movement for say like a week until we see the next movement up? Because we see a good pattern here that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, around about a week's worth of sideways movement. And then we saw here, okay, there was like maybe 4 days worth of sideways movement before we saw the move downwards. And then here we saw it was sort of like 4 or 5 days. So it looks like to me that every single move is followed by at least 3 or 4 days worth of sideways movement for either distributing or accumulating Bitcoin. And these moves are big enough for companies to make enough money. You know, if you buy down here and sell here, you've made a couple of percent. Let's just have a look how much it would be. You've made like 5% there, which is good money. So if you can invest your whole salary down here, which would be a gamble, knowing it goes back up there, you've already beat inflation for the year of 2024. And if you then invest down here and go up there at the bottom and go up there with the intention that it's going to go up 16%, is speculating, right? But you would have had a higher risk to reward ratio, all right? So if these companies are in cohorts with one another, saying, I will sell at the top, I will buy at the bottom, now I will sell at the top, I will buy it. So they're all taking turns making profits here. Then we would expect them, once they've all made enough profits and they've got enough money, or they've got more Bitcoin ready to move up, then we would expect a big move out of this one zone. But right now it seems to be that the price wants to move slowly up to this one point. Now, in my eyes, we need to think about this really clever, because we don't want to be, and people, and when I say we don't want, the general public don't want to be teased into this, okay? Now, if we were going to build a trap, if it was us going to try and push the price up, we would want to sell as much Bitcoin as possible to see whether there is a market there. And so if you were to sell 1,000 Bitcoin here, and the price was to dive down, which happened yesterday, right? The price didn't dive down, it just got sucked up. The 1,000 Bitcoin just got sucked up. That shows there's a market there, right? So the fact that that 1,000 Bitcoin could get sold in one transaction here told you that there was people buying. Now, if you then look to buy that 1,000 back, and you can't buy it at that one price, and the price moves up, and you do a market order and you say, I'll buy 1,000 Bitcoin back at whatever price, and the market moves up, that is confirmation there that no one is selling. There's no liquidity in that area, and if the order goes through in its entirety there, then you know where the sellers were. So if you had that much Bitcoin, you could work out where the market was. Now, there are other ways and means of looking at the order book to see this, but ultimately people can spoof the order book by placing big sell orders here, and when the price moves up, they can just move their sell order up here, and this is called spoofing, and this is technically illegal in the exchanges. But just in the normal everyday Joe that's on Coinbase or whatever, or Binance, they can do this all day long, because they don't fall under those regulations. If they want to sell 1,000 of their Bitcoin, they can. So we need to work out when these big whales are going to buy, and when are the big whales going to sell. Because if there is a big whale selling here, and there's a big whale wanting to buy here, but there's not enough Bitcoin in between to fulfill that transaction, then the order book can only move through every single order to fill it, to push it up. And that obviously will not happen at an angle like this. This will happen going straight up. But we've seen this play already. We've seen it here. Lots of people want to sell it, and the order just goes straight down, and then there's people there ready to buy it back up again, and it just booms straight back up because there is no liquidity in this area. So we need to be careful about when to get into Bitcoin and try and spot where the traps are going to be. Now, I would gamble my life that when it hits this point here, that there is going to be huge amount of selling, and we are going to see some form of correction come in here. So what I'm trying to say is that let's assume that this does make a move like this over the coming, I don't know, the 29th. So let's say like this week and next week. Let's just say it does make this move. Or let's be realistic. Let's say it makes the move to here, to say the 26th, the Sunday, okay? And then say it makes this move like this, and there's one candle in one day that pushes through. I would expect that, let's be realistic, I would expect that this is going to look like this in the end, right? That the wick of the candle, if I can move it, the wick of the candle will look like this, and the body will come back down again, probably to look like this again, to show that there were huge amount of sellers up here. So this is a trap, is that lots of people buying. If people are selling, people are buying, and that would mean that there is liquidity now trapped up here. And if those same people sell hard the next day to bring the price back down again out of this one zone, so it's gone, and then the price literally just consolidates once again, moves up to trap more people in to make them think it's going to go higher, and then we see the sell-off, and it just comes back down to here again, and then all of these people, the big investors, they can buy it all up here for literally super cheap money, and then this will then be the move, the pump, and the push. Or is this already the push, right? Have we seen that picture here already? Did they trap already investors in here and bring the price down? And is this what we are seeing? And is this move up to higher prices the move that they want it to happen? And are we then going to see some form of consolidation here before we see a move back down again, right to here, and then it then has the next move up? We need to think about what type of plan the people that are buying and selling hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin have in for us. Because if they are happy that this is the height of the price and they want to take as much profits as possible, then we should expect to see prices come down here for them to buy up their next amount of Bitcoin ready to make their new move. This doesn't make them bears. This just makes some people that want to sell it off, first of all, to see whether there is a market and see where the market is. Now, if they start selling here and keep selling, and they realize the price keeps moving down, they know that there's no traction. They will keep selling their Bitcoin until they see where the market is, and when the price goes sideways all the time, because here that means that everyone has agreed upon that this is what the price of Bitcoin should be, and this tells them that they can test that zone. They can test that zone as much as they want, right? And this is where we start seeing the likes of the bouncing bottom, like this, bouncing, because it means that they've tested every single time. Is this really the bottom? Right? Is this the bottom of the range? And once they are happy that no one else is selling down there, and that they keep trying to force the price down, and because if someone's selling, someone's got to be buying, so they keep buying it off a little bit. And once they're happy that no one else is selling there, they'll know that people are selling here or selling here or selling here, and that will be when the price can move up. And this is what we have, the mindset that we have to have. We have to try and work out where the buyers are, where are the sellers, because if the buyers at the moment, that people are selling here, they're here and here and here. They keep trying to push the price up and sell it off again. And the question on this one with doing the reverse is, if it comes to here and there's no one selling here anymore, right? And this is the final time, or we could expect it to come once again, and people are selling there, and we could expect it to come again, and then people are selling there. If the people selling run out here, right, then we can only expect the price to move up then. Because if no one is selling there, we have to find next where the liquidity is of people selling. And if every single time they test the tops here and the amount of buying pressure is reduced, then it will either be that the sellers come in big at the end and there is no buyers, and then we get the move down. So as long as the buyers continue to keep buying, this is the most important thing to understand, is that when the selling power reduces, as long as there is lots of buying motion still here, right? And there are buyers behind this. There are people that believe that the price will go up and they want the price to go up. As long as that movement is there, and if there are no more sellers, then we will see the price burst up to the top. But we will only see it burst up top when, and we'll know where it stopped, when it consolidates at the top and we see this movement to the top and it doesn't go any further, and then we see it come back down again, right? And it tests this zone or test this zone wherever it went through. So be very skeptical about these things, and it's only the bottom when all the sellers have been exhausted, all right? And let's move down to the 5 minutes. Maybe we can find an example of this happening right now. And we can see this here, right? Exactly what I've just said has happened here. So what we were just talking about, we've got a real life example of, and it happened yesterday between 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock, all right? It happened here. So the price came down and then they pushed it back up again to test, are there still sellers? Yes, there were sellers. It pushed it back up again, and here there was lots of volume, right? There were lots of selling, there were lots of buying too, and then it came back down, came up, and there was still selling here, enough to push it down again, but we saw big buying there. Then it came up, but the buying was not strong enough to get it back up here. And the selling, these candles, these red and green ones, they don't have lots of volume in them. So it meant that the price just came in and there wasn't much Bitcoin transacted. And then we saw increased volume, no volume, increased volume again, no volume. And the price just managed to move down super, super simple, because it meant that there were no buyers in this one area. Now, where were the buyers? Where were they waiting? Well, we can see this. There is a massive signal here showing us where the buyers were. It's where the volume is. And the green candle shows there's lots of volume. So we saw the buyers down the end right here to push the price back up again. But did we see the same pattern in reverse? We just saw a bigger version of it. There was a small version of it. The price came down and they tested the bottom. They tested the bottom again. They tested the bottom again. They got a bit more violent this time. And now we saw there was lots of buyers, but the sellers decided, I'm going to test it again. And this is the green candle. Look, do you notice? No green candle here, no green candle here, no green candle here. Boom, there was the buying, right? And then it came back down again, no volume. They didn't get in there because all the people that got in there because they knew the price would get driven down again. And the likelihood is they bought here and they sold here to drive the price back down again, to buy some more up here and buy some more up here. And there was some selling there to force it down again, and then selling here to force the price down. But there were people here jumping in to say it's going to go to the moon. And then it just went back down again. And this is the final spike. And if we move over here, you can see that they tried once again, and then they moved out that zone. Let's just delete all this once again, and we are painting the picture. So we know that this line up here has been tested once, right? And now it's been tested twice. And it couldn't move up any further. So the question is, can they test it again? And if it does get tested again, right, is this the time, or will it be the next time that gets tested again? And if this line gets tested again and it fails and we don't see rapid movement down, then we should just expect to see it tested again. And if it tests it again and it can make another spike, we'd expect this to boom right out of this one zone, right, to come and test this line here. And then the pattern continues. test it here, test it again. And if there is buying pressure, it will go up. If there's no buying pressure, it will come down and likely come and test this one zone here. So what we're expecting is that if it has power to push through, right? If it has power to push through and come and test this line once, we shouldn't expect it to test it. If there is no liquidity in this one zone, the price will bang straight through and come back, and it will make a small correction and rally once up again. However, if there are sellers here, then we should expect the price to come up, hit this one area, and we should see some volume there, selling off, red candles, come back down again, see green candle here, push it back up again, and maybe make another new high, see a red candle here, bring it down, see a green candle here, and then if it's got strength, it will come to here. But what I would reckon is that it will come back down again, and we'd see another green candle here, and then boom, and it goes through. If this has weakness at this one point and it gets rejected here because there is lots of selling here, then that's where we would see the correction coming down. But if the liquidity has moved up here, then we would see it burst through this one zone. So this is how I see things, right? Because it's all about finding where the liquidity is. You can draw these flags, these pennants and all sorts of crap all day long what you want, right? However you want. But ultimately, it's the trick is finding where the liquidity is. And let's come and zoom in this once again. Now, it looks like to me that there's a liquidity line here, right? If we draw this all the way through, we can see that there is some form of consensus that the price should be there, should be there, should be there. Okay, it moved a little bit higher there, but now the price is there. So if this is a liquidity line, it doesn't have to go horizontal. It can go at any angle you want because this is the trend of the market. This line here is telling you that the market is moving up. Now, if the trend of the market or the slope of the market is going sideways, then it's going to have a zero slope, and we are going to see a bouncing. We're going to see a we're going to see a bouncing ball on that one slope line, right? But if the trend is generally moving up, then we see the bouncing ball coming here, and the question is where is the tennis racket, right? Where is the bat pushing it up? Was there a bat here and it was a small bat? Was there a small bat here? And here there was lots of momentum pushing it up to here. And you can see this if you draw this here, this was another area of selling. So there was sellers here, there were sellers here, sellers here, and sellers here. And as they went up, the selling got a little bit stronger to push it back down again. So this is all we're looking for, is we're looking for where the buyers and sellers are, and the line is just telling us what slope, what trajectory that these people had. They think, wait a minute, the price, because the bears, these are not bears, these are people taking profits. They went, wait a minute, we know we can get even more profits out of this one move, and on this move they went, yeah, we can get it out to there, and then it came back down again. They went, buy some more, and then boom, back up. Have faith in your movement. Have some conviction that the price is going to go further. And they knew, okay, it can go back down a bit. Green candle, buy some more. And now we can see that the sellers, maybe the sellers had a bit more conviction in this, or there wasn't as much buying conviction as what there was. There was less buying conviction than there was selling conviction. Now, the question is this the next move out here, or is this to show that the price is going to go down and that the selling has overwhelmed the buying? And if this is the case, then we'd want to see the buying or the selling deplete here. So we saw it reach this one the first time, and let's say it comes to here and comes up here, comes down again, comes here, come down again. We can see that the selling is getting stronger, right? Or the buying is holding this one line. And if the buyers go from this one area, then we would expect the buyers to come down, like say here maybe, or somewhere lower. I mean, there's no buyers. There's no buyers in this one zone. The buyers are down here. So we'd expect the price to come down to 60,000. So But otherwise, we'd expect them to come and test this one line again. But we've already talked about this one line. We can see that there are buyers here, and it has tested it many times. And if it comes down again, then there is a likelihood is that there's weak amount of buying here, right? Or this is the thing that they want. They want the buying to come down here, to spike there, come and retest, and then boom, back up again. The question is where is the smart money? And you might think the smart money is there, right? But in my mind, this is not the smart money here, right? This is not the smart money. The smart money is when it comes down like that. This is the smart money, right? And this will be the trap, is that people will think it will trap all of the people shorting it, right? It will come down and look at this liquidity zone here. It's empty, right? It's empty. And this will make people think the price is going to go down once again. And this was just a distribution area to come down. Now, if this is a distribution area, then we would be correct in saying that there is no liquidity here, and we would expect the buyers to be possibly here. But if this is a trap, this is a bear trap, right? Then we would expect, like I said, the price to come down, snap down, come across, tease them once again, get more bears in, and then boom, right? If this is a bear trap. Because, yeah, but if this is a bull trap, it's all about enticing the bulls in, right? And we would expect the price to come up, probably test it again, and then come up, spike, come back down again, come again, and then boom, go down. And it would literally just suck through this line, more than likely back down to here. So don't be caught in these traps, because there are too many people with so much money that they can flip this market backwards and forwards how they like. So you've got to look at these areas, and people would say they're support and resistance zone. Well, I'm just saying that it's where the buyers are, and it's where the bids and the asks are. Look, it's even written there, the bids and the asks. Where are the offers? The people offering their Bitcoin at a certain price. And where are the bids? The bids are down here. People saying, I will give you the money for this. And right now, we've seen them bid down here, bid down here, bid down here, bid down here, enough to move the price back up again. The only question is are you willing to gamble here? Don't gamble there, right? Wait for it to come and retest this one zone. If this one zone is dead, right? If this one zone is dead, then it will break through, and then you've not lost any money, all right? Now, if this one zone gets tested once again, and it manages to come back up again, then just wait. Wait for it to test this one zone, because wait till the bear trap has happened, and wait till the bull trap has happened, and wait till the bear trap has happened. Until this area here is not the trap. This is just the accumulation ready to get sold. Remember, if they are working for a bull trap, all right, this is what you have to have in mind. If they're waiting for a bull trap, then that means that they need to sell, all right? The people that are setting the trap need to have lots of Bitcoin to sell to a market. Now, in order for them to get a market, in order for them to sell lots, they need to have a market. So they need to create a market. And what does that mean? That means that they have to entice lots of people to assume that the price is going to go to the moon up here. So there'll be lots and lots of people buying Bitcoin up here, ready for the breakout, right? Now, people selling it, the shorting people, they are selling something. They need someone to buy something. Now, a bear trap is people shorting the market, but these people have bought their Bitcoin down here. If they are talking about spot here, they've bought it down here. They've accumulated it down here very, very quick, very, very cleverly. That's why it's called smart money. And if the smart money is wanting to buy all of this back cheaper down here, they first of all want to sell it up here, right, to make a profit, to then buy it back down here, ready for the real run. And this is where the trap comes in. See, that one, they trap the bulls, two, they trap the bears, and then they push the price up. With that said, thank you very much for watching. Remember, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I do lots of research, right? I'm the person that is fanatical about what I do, and I learn every single day, and I have a good brain, right? My brain sucks this information in, and every day I say something, I learn from it. And every day I learn from it, I try and contradict what I've just learned. And I try to keep going. And over the course of the 30 days, maybe, I might have said things wrong, but I've learned from those things. I'm all about learning from my mistakes. And I'm all about learning to find patterns in things, to learn about where I can buy and where I can sell, so I can retire at 65, right? I don't want to be rich at 65. I just want to retire at 65 with a nice life, and that is it. So if you've been interested in what I've said right now, please feel about liking, subscribing, sharing, doing all that stuff. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Ciao, ciao, and goodbye.